Rico, thank you
Yes.
for sitting down with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for a fantastic evening watching Kaleidoscope.
Thank you so much for coming. I'm just having the time of my life.
Yeah.
I can't say enough.
How does it feel to be part of a Ray Bradbury production?
I just being a part of an incredible sci-fi piece that just has like the poetry of what Mr. Bradbury was giving to us, and it's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, you're really dissecting what he's saying, and just it's unfortunately not done enough. So it's an honor to be able to do it and to just bring this wonderful work back to life.
Yeah, there's not a lot of sci-fi on stage, so
There's not.
It's
No.
fantastic to see this festival brought together to bring a lot of this together.
Yeah.
When did you find out about it? How did you come to the project?
I found out about it through a couple of people that I actually worked with, Adrian Wilkinson, and I found out also Tim Russ was working on it, and I worked with them previously on another project on a Star Trek pilot.
Renegades?
Star Trek Renegades, yes. And so I found out about that, about this through them, and I wanted in. And I was like, let me try to figure out how I could do that. So I spoke with them, and through the proper channels, we were able to make it work. Make it work.
Kaleidoscope is like a stage play version of Gravity.
Basically,
film.
yeah. Without the happy ending. Yeah.
With the ending that should have been in Gravity.
If you've seen it.
You haven't seen it?
Okay, just close your ears, JJ.
You cannot rent it. You have to find a theater that's still playing, and you got to. It's one of those movies.
Or
you
sit
have to.
2 feet from my 60-inch. That would work.
That could work too. Yeah, and squint. Yeah.
What was it like to get into the character where you're floating in space and performing that kind of piece? And how does that affect your delivery of lines and your performance of the character, knowing that you're in that position?
Well, the piece deals with, after a while when you're floating out there and you realize basically there's no hope, a lot of it has to do with it. A lot of it has to do with the fact that you're dealing with death, your imminent death, and the acceptance. And how does one deal with the fact that they are going to die? How does one make peace with that? How does one make peace with themselves or the things that, or the people that are surrounding them? So it's a really cerebral and really heartfelt piece that really makes you think about those things. So getting into this type of character, I have to think about who Stone is, and of course, what is his background? What does he do? What is his thing that makes him feel comfortable knowing that he is going to die? You can't say it any better. And the monologue in there that describes how he's feeling like, I'm going to be young forever. And I'm going to circle in the moon, and
It's a beautiful piece of poetry.
Yeah, it's a wonderful
That whole
piece.
sequence was so beautiful.
It's amazing. It's an
And I think
amazing
that's what
piece.
the piece is really good at, is showing how every individual person approaches death in a different way.
Yeah.
Based on their backgrounds and their spirituality or lack of spirituality.
Exactly.
As is always the case with really great sci-fi, it turns the lens upon the person.
Right.
It might be grandiose and big production, but
Right.
in the end, good sci-fi is always about the human condition.
Right.
And I think the piece is amazing like that. How different is it to perform on the stage a sci-fi piece from doing it for film?
Well, I love theater. Theater is my first love. So, and it always will be. I've done a ton of theater. I've done a lot of film and TV also. So, proud to say, putting those two worlds together is, it's the ultimate two cool things to do. Loving sci-fi like I do, and being able to, it's kind of like my return to theater. Also, I've been kind of on a theater sabbatical for the last 3.5 years or so. So, and I told myself this year, 2014, I wanted to get back on stage.
It seems like it was the perfect time.
Right, exactly. It was almost like be careful what you wish for, because I also told myself I really wanted to do a great sci-fi piece, and of course I was blessed enough to be able to do
Serendipity all
Renegades,
the way
and
around.
and then I got this, and so
That's
it was
fantastic.
awesome. Yeah.
Great. So what's the latest on Star Trek Renegades?
Right now, we're still in post. We actually are done with the initial editing, but it being a sci-fi piece, there is, of course, the special effects.
Tremendous amount of post.
Yeah, and that's what actually holds a lot of sci-fi type films longer, because you have to do that one portion as well. So
Okay.
yeah, we're in that portion right now.
Good.
So.
And thank you for sitting down with us. And everybody needs to come out and see you in Kaleidoscope at the Sci-Fest.
People really do. This is big, and this is an incredible feat that David Dean Petrell and Lisa Costello has put together, and I can only see it growing bigger and bigger, and just being part of the big dogs, like you see a lot of these other festivals and cons and all these other events. So thank you so much
Just the
for
start.
having
Thank
me.
you for being a part of the start.
I do appreciate it.
All right. Thanks,
Thank
Rico.
you. All right. Cool.